Oh, I lost transmission there, so I'm sorry about that. I shall show the sun again because it's just coming up and I hope that it's coming out. But, is it coming out? There is nothing happening. The street is completely dead, apart from an ibis bird there, eating the remnants of the chicken. I do hope I didn't leave any bones in that chicken, that's the only thing. Because normally I go through chicken very strongly. I think that they know what they're doing. Even Big Boy seems all right here. He has had a lot of chicken. He actually is looking a bit big because he eats a lot, but he's not as big as the original Big Boy, even though he's almost as big in the body, but his legs are slightly smaller, only slightly smaller. You know, this is still what you'd call, very close to him in many ways. But don't forget that, the Big Boy now is a memory. So although things were quite distinct about him when he was here, like maybe for 10 years, I'm not sure. Wait on, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Probably only 9. See, I'm trying to figure out when he departed and the newer versions come in, should we say. I'm pretty sure I know that. But I could be wrong. But, you'd have to... Because I will use logic to even determine when something changed. I won't say, oh, look, we're in a matrix and they could just magically change things. Although some movies have indicated that this is possible by the Matrix God. But I say that because it's a spiritual domain, psychopathic human beings have to be involved with all these changes. Psychopathic human beings have to take part in the elimination of other human beings, in the transference of one kind of entity into another. In other words, replacing an animal, as has been pointed out. So they have to be involved in taking away an older animal and bringing in a replacement. That's why it's a spiritual domain, because it's determining what human beings are doing, their behaviour, whether they will go over the line and do something negative, and whether they will accept negative replacements, negative entities, whether they will worship the Matrix God and its technological world, which they do. That is what they do. Because they have accepted these things and they do take part in replacing the animals, because the psychopathic, technological Matrix people that are all around me here, all around, there's very few exceptions, not only accept technological replacements, say in animals and things, they like them. They don't see any difference. They're like, what is the difference between, like, supposing that ibis was not a real ibis, not an original breeding ibis, shall we say. That's how I look at it. If you're not a natural breeding animal or person or whatever, then you are a technological being of the Matrix. That's putting it simply. I've looked at it that way for quite a long time. Even though in the past that wouldn't have worried me. I'd have said, does it matter how you do things? Well, now I say, it's not a question of whether it matters. Well, yes, it probably does matter quite a bit. Because it distinguishes between narcissistic psychopaths and those that are just traumatised, angry, hurting sad, sometimes aggressive human beings, because even, if you're traumatized, that's the whole purpose of the Matrix, is to traumatize human beings like the psychopaths like to traumatize, because they have experienced trauma. They deny and repress that trauma and then pass it on to other human beings, because they can no longer feel content with themselves or content with the world around them. And the Matrix God entity has seen to that, because it makes all human beings feel less in the land of the demigods and this technological matrix where everyone else appears to have everything. Even on this very street, as I've said, there's a lot of cars. I don't have a car, but there's the sun. There's the sun coming up. I don't know if it's any good. That sun is a different sun in its colour. Like, see how that is fairly... To me, it looks white. It looks like a big white glowing ball, and it's definitely brighter and warmer than what it was all the time over the last 3 years. Without a doubt, that sun is slightly bigger, slightly warmer and brighter. And the sky, of course, as you can see, is clear. But that is not the same sun as my photos would prove, just as I could prove that that is not the same big boy cat that was around 6 years ago. If I could get my photos up, they are there, but no one will help me to get them to where I can visually show them. I have looked at them many, many times. Many times. I didn't, when I looked at them many, many times over the last few years before they were stopped, before, due to technology, with the TV and the Matrix cars are starting to come onto the street. That's interesting. But they can't refrain for long. Actually, they have refrained remarkably. Today they have really restrained themselves. Look. And look, they're coming on the street down there. See the cars? Look. Oh, here we go. This one is going to pull in obligingly in the front. And with his right in front. They've said, hey, we've let it go for about, she's been standing out here on a Sunday morning with no cars. And now we're going to find some excuse to pile in. This one is coming right in. The sun is over there as well. I might get a good picture here because, frankly, I get sick of filming the Matrix cars. Like to be filming cars. Some of the cars are quite interesting and quite new, and some of them quite nice as cars go. But I've never owned a car or been lucky enough to drive. I doubt whether I would get anyone to teach me anyway. Actually, I could probably drive a car if we didn't have all the rules and regulations. I'm pretty sure even at my dilapidated state and even my nervousness, which would have been a hindrance, driving, I don't think I would care, because I would say, oh, look, I'm in a matrix. So although I'm nervous, and in the past I'd have been like, I could have an accident and could get injured or die, I'm getting injured and going to die in this matrix anyway. The matrix people will see to that. Here comes this car pulling in here. So we're going to have I was going to go inside and going to keep talking about the cat, but maybe they'd rather me focus on the matrix cars than talk about the possession of the cat or the photos. See, that car is just going to... Look at the antics of that car. Can you see it? Oh, the tree's blocking it, but he's just swirling around, going nowhere. Finally parking. And here we have the usual people getting out. sun. That is a lovely sun. Well, they did say good morning. For some reason, I'm getting a negative vibe about those people. But then again, if I actually went on vibe, which is actually fairly suppressed in the Matrix anyway. In other words, we don't really, because if you're surrounded by a negative matrix with negative sound, negative, which is negative vibration, and you feel that you are being boxed in, surrounded, controlled, and that it is all negative, that it is, you know that you're surrounded by psychopaths that don't like human beings, and particularly don't like human beings that feed birds, because then they have to compete and put bread out, and they don't want to do that. They wouldn't be doing that. They haven't done it in most of the years that I've been here. But then again, in the past, I didn't feed the birds outside my door. In the past, I used to go to parks and feed the birds. So I wouldn't have noticed if there was animosity or resentment for you feeding the birds, But we have the car coming right in front there. At least he's turned his lights off. I'm going to go inside. That fella's just walking up and down there. He's part of that car there, I think. So they just do that kind of activity to where they look natural and normal, but they know that I know that they're the same people and that they're, see? In front, not shy today. Car open, car closed, but not getting out, and we're back in. But I don't care. See how he just come back to the car for no reason at all, and this car is just pulling in and out, up and down, and he actually signalled very subtly to that driver in that car. That is Matrix, collaboration, and coordination of a systemised patrol, car suppression of human beings. And you'd say that is very strange, that is outrageous, that could not be true. Well, that is up to you. But these are all rather older people like myself, strangely enough, which normally I wouldn't take much. Oh, the sun has it's gone dark. Look at that. Did you see that? The sun has now gone dark behind that cloud and it's gone grey. Can you see that? Can you? And I'm feeling a bit cold. Perhaps it's time for me to fold up. So we have all these older ones coming now. But I don't want to film them directly or put them on the, on the thing. But yep, I think your car's safe. No point in me going for a joyride because I can't drive, and I have a feeling that I might be worse off for sitting in the same seats as some of the people anyway. Mind you, it makes no difference because they're all around me and they will infiltrate and contaminate me regardless. And that is the truth, because it is contamination in a way. I know I've got OCD and whatever, but they traumatise your mind. So they contaminate your mind and stress you and make you feel, at such a low level. Yeah, the life gets drained out of you by, they take your energy, they sap the energy and life out of you, which I became aware of a few years ago. I couldn't understand it. You can replenish it, but that's why the matrix has come down really hard on some of us, because some of us can have the life sucked out of us by, say, someone close to us, or even by neighbours, local people. But it may still not be enough to totally kill your spirit, shall we say. So then they have to bring in the whole matrix. That means they have to bring in all this, all the cars, all the people from the whole suburb almost. They have to bring in every psychopath, which makes up most of the population anyway, in on the act, or in on the acting of patrolling, suppressing, hassling, harassing real human beings to traumatise them. Oh, that's the dog. I better go. Perhaps he's under stress there too. I better go, sorry, because when he's barking, that means there is a problem, whereas most of the time he's playing me. I know it's a matrix and they play anyway, and it is to stop me with the video, but it's successful, so I better go.